What is up, everybody? Back again with another review video, and today's review is over the DC Multiverse Mr. Terrific, which is a part of the McFarlane Collector Edition line. It is a number 27, and once again, this is based on a JSA. As you can see, this is the regular version and not the platinum version. I don't have such a big connection towards Mr. Terrific, just like many other people, or compared to many other people, that is. So therefore, I'm just going after the basic one and compared to the platinum, since that does take potentially more time, but not only that, money to get the platinum version. Anyways, let's get into it. It is a 12 plus, just like every other figure here at the top. 22 moving parts as well. And then moving on to the side, you're gonna see the McFarlane Collector Edition Mr. Terrific from JSA, and then number 27 there at the bottom. There you go. Now moving on to the back, you're gonna get this art, if you really want to call it that, because I feel like it's kind of a basic art. Doesn't really seem like there's crazy art aspects to it. But anyways, there it is. Definitely not my favorite art out of basically all the figures I've reviewed. Now let's get into the last side, and just like most figures, this is usually the most boring side of the box. Mr. Terrific there, and then you got number 27 once again. And for those who may be searching in store compared to wanting to buy it online, there is the barcode. Now let's get into the actual figure. Starting off, the first thing you're gonna get is the typical black display stand for the collector edition, which the only difference is that the fact that it is more like a chrome or silver DC logo compared to being all in black. Now the next thing that we're used to as well is the collector edition card. So nothing different really about it. And then here is the back of the card, and you can read up on the character by pausing this video if you feel like doing so. Now let's get into the accessories. So the first one we're gonna get is this accessory. Definitely great details going on. Really like how it looks, like the translucent light blue, or kind of like frost blue color is what I would call it. Great detail overall, and I'm sure this will clip onto most likely his wrist. It just looks kind of small, at least from first glance, but now looking into it over or beyond the camera, definitely looks like it would actually clip on properly well. And then you get this as well, two of them attached there. Very nice. And then this is not too pointy to the point where you're going to actually cut your finger, so that is good to see. And it is a nice silver color, and once again the kind of frost blue translucent color going on as well. And the next thing is really kind of an accessory, but also an extra hand, and that is him holding one of those weapons he has. There you go. Great paint application going on. And then even on the back here, I mean, nothing going on with the back. It's just a basic black hand holding it. Now when it comes to hands, that's the only extra hand you're going to get. And the next two accessories, really not accessories because they're faceplates. First one you're gonna get is an open mouth here. Try to show that off the best. So you got the white eyes going on, the teeth, and then it is see-through, so hopefully that kind of is hidden in a way when you actually replace the head. Hopefully there's a black spot underneath, so therefore it actually looks like a mouth. Other than that, just some basic details. Definitely has that more angered look to it. And then next one you're going to get is an actual kind of closed mouth, white eyes once again, some forehead wrinkles. Other than that, just some teeth detail as well. Try to focus in there. So there you go. And the one that's already on the figure is right here. So I thought this was quite funny. I don't know if anyone else finds humor in this, but just look at that. That is oddly terrifying, just with the tongue and kind of like the inners of the mouth. So that's just something to look forward to when you're going to change the faceplates. Right, here's faceplate number 1. It was no issue replacing it whatsoever, but there for your own good, that's what it looks like. Now looking into this one, I definitely have to say it's more loose than the open mouth one, just because the tongue is obviously behind it. I feel like that's kind of a subtraction, or definitely a negative part about the changing faceplates. It is definitely more loose. as you can just kind of see some movement there already. So that's definitely a negative when it comes to this figure. Now getting into the actual figure here, as you can see, it is a cloth actual jacket, which is kind of good, but kind of negative at the same time, because probably not going to have much articulation with it on. So therefore, when I get to actually doing the articulation, I'm going to take it off to get the full potential, because most likely you're going to have to take it off in order to do so. Other than that, pretty much you got some nice face detail going on there. Really nice stern look. And other than that, pretty much just black and white all throughout, although I do like the evenness, kind of like the even split going on down the pants. So that's good to see. Then on the back, you got the white carrying on as well, which is also another plus. Although there's some bad points where you can see it's not the straightest and kind of just some messy areas. And then you got the inside here, his actual torso. Looks like there's some dirt a little bit there on mine, but easy to wipe away. But you got the T carrying out throughout the torso, which is a good sign. Now let me actually take off the jacket, because the jacket, it's nice, but as you can see, definitely not much going on with the inside there. And you have the red line, black and white. Other than that, pretty basic, and definitely is a, I feel like, great and nice material. I feel like it's a little thinner than the Captain Boomerang. I really was wondering like if McFarlane was trying to put on the jacket so they didn't have to do the tattoos, but that is indeed not the case. They actually did them, which is a really good sign to see that they actually carried on that extra effort and they weren't trying to cheap out by adding the jacket or give us a good and then create a negative by doing so. So that's good to see. Move on the back, once again, just the T is being carried out throughout the black and white. Then here in the front, I already kind of showed it off, but then you got the red stripe around the collar to outline it. And then the red here as well around the actual waist area. Other than that, not much detail, but here is the tattoo, and then the other tattoo. And you can also see what it actually says. It's not blurry, it's not messy looking, it's all there in great detail, nice paint application. Now getting into the actual articulation, looking off here and starting off with the actual head. Side to side, no issue there, not too loose and also not too tight. And then looking down, not much there, kind of just the regular amount. Looking up, once again, like I said, faceplate's going to be kind of loose because of the tongue, which is a very bad part about this figure in my opinion. Anyways, trying to take the head back without moving the faceplate. There you go. It's about as much as you're going to get. Then whole 9 yards here, going up, down, and around, no issue. And then 360 if you feel like doing so. So great articulation there. Now getting into the actual arm or arms, great T-pose going on. Then when it comes to 360 in the arm, no issue, not too tight and not too loose. Then when it comes to the actual bicep cut, nice range of motion. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Comes to the actual elbow. There you go. Pretty much all the way that it can, besides when the biceps get into the actual way. Then when it comes to the wrist, there you go, full movement there. And then when it comes to going down, goes down all the way at 90 degrees there, and then goes up 90 degrees as well. Definitely a pretty thin wrist. Now getting into the upper torso. There you go, side to side, up, down, around, all the goodness there. Now getting into the actual ab crunch. There you go. So a wide range of motion there. And something I was concerned about is I did see one in store that actually had a wide gap, at least up here. But this one, for me, actually it's not the case. So I'm glad I passed on the one in store. It's probably just quality control issues there. Anyways, getting back into the ab crunch, there's how much you're gonna get moving forward. Then when it comes to the actual waist area, there you go, full range of motion as well, up, down, and around, or I guess around town, should we say. And then getting into the splits, very nice there. That was pretty easy to do. Doesn't really seem like the diaper, whatever you want to call it, is restricting it to the point where it can't really move the legs. And then the legs are not just going to pop out from underneath like some figures do. And then when it comes to the actual knee, full articulation there. Now getting down into the actual foot. There you go. Going up. There you go. And then side tilt. And if you feel like doing so, up and around as well. Now, the last thing that should be guaranteed for most figures at least is the toe articulation. And there you go. It's all there. Now, with that being said, let me get into my final thoughts on this figure. Getting into my final thoughts on this figure, I definitely have to say the accessories are fantastic. I feel like everything was included. Yes, there may have been some sacrifice in extra hands by including more accessory choices, but I'm kind of okay with it here at least. Although for some, that may just be kind of like controversy there. And then when it comes to the jacket, I like how it's a little more thinner material. Well, it's not as thick as I remember Captain Boomerang, as I mentioned previously, so I like that. And I definitely feel like the colors are painted on or applied very well. The stitching's all there, it's not too messy. And then getting into the face plates, I feel like that's where this figure kind of lacks, not because of the detail on the face plates, but it's simply because of the fact, since there is a tongue behind the original faceplate, or to get the actual open mouth faceplate to actually make sense and look proper, kind of causing the other two faceplates to not attach the best. And you kind of saw that when I was messing with the head articulation. It really caused it to knock off or push out the faceplate, and it definitely did not stay in there the best. So that's definitely a big negative when it comes to this figure. When it comes to the actual articulation all the way though, I feel like they did a fantastic job. And the paint application to represent the T on the actual costume or suit was also applied very nicely. I feel like it's a lot cleaner than most figures in terms of the straight lines, although yes, there's going to be some areas, so that's just something that I also take away. And then the face sculpt is phenomenal as well. Definitely feel like it really expresses the character to the best it could do. And then I really like the tattoos and how nicely they're painted on. They're not blurry, not hard to understand or read. Overall, this figure definitely was a lot better than I was expecting, especially since, as I mentioned, the exposure when you actually do the ab crunch was not there on mine, even though the one I did see in store had that issue or appeared to have that issue. So I'm glad mine did not, and it turns out honestly that is just a quality control issue. If I were to rate this figure out of 10, I definitely feel like I have to go in more closer towards the 10 because of all those positive reasons. So I'd probably have to go with a 9 out of 10, and that's mainly the takeaway from that score is mainly because of that faceplate issue. Anyways, that's going to wrap up today's review. If you did enjoy this review, please like, comment, subscribe down below for more future content, and until then, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.